Hello again. I'm still Ben, back to the hat to see what our topic is today. This one, which is First Amendment rights. Well, First Amendment rights. Okay. This should be a pretty short and simple topic because they're all outlined very clearly. I think the confusion and in the streams I'm going to be doing here, which is the thing I want everybody to really participate and watch, is going to be going through that whole document and actually really rewording it to get rid of a lot of the 18th century language and making it more clear for everybody. The First Amendment rights, you've got your freedom of speech, you got your freedom of press, freedom of religion. Those are the biggest three. You've still got the others. But the issue is how it's worded and how it's been interpreted. I believe I've talked already about how the judiciary interpreting things and then making policy based on that is constitutionally incorrect. So my policy towards the First Amendment is that we need to define all the terms quite a bit better. We need to, word it and update it. This whole Constitution needed to be updated multiple times by now, and I already talked about that too, where we've only got about one amendment per 10 years of the country, and that is alarmingly small. It should be much, much more than that as we've continued to grow. It's a document that is supposed to be able to be changed for a reason. And, for instance, in the freedom of speech area, we've interpreted that to be freedom of expression now, which I agree with as a policy, as a personal belief. I'm on board with the freedom of expression. I think that's kind of one of the root things that we can get down to, but it's not what it says. Okay, this is the problem we're running into, is that people are so unaware of what this document says, or it's been interpreted by other bodies so much to rewrite and define what it means, that this is how we've gotten to the level of corruption that we're seeing now, where people are like, is that the law? Is that not the law? Well, people argue this, and those people argue. Like, I want to eliminate all that. I am a pedantic writer, okay? So the policy in terms of First Amendment policies is we have to more clearly define all of these terms, especially, speaking to one of the other big ones there, the freedom of religion is an issue when we haven't adequately defined the difference between religions and your own personal religious belief and cult organizations, which this country has a huge, huge problem with. So that's part of what needs to happen when it comes to First Amendment policy. I would push the legislature to begin a full, maybe not rewrite, but really kind of a full investigation into how we've used our Constitution versus what it really says. I'm a letter of the law kind of guy, and if you don't like that, then maybe write the laws better. Okay, and it's also a very universal sort of sense that it needs to be written very simply so that it's not on Tuesdays past 9 o'clock, in this area, the sound ordinance can only be, those laws are terrible. We need to get rid of all those kinds of things on a separate issue. Laws are supposed to be big and universal from a federal standpoint, right? The further you get into your own personal communities, the more specific you can be. But we're talking about First Amendment rights for the entire country. It does have to still be written very universally. And I think we need to address a lack of specificity in the way it has been written in the modern sense now. In terms of policy towards the First Amendment. Everybody who takes office has to, swear to uphold the Constitution. So we first have to agree on what it means in order to be able to do that and to work with each other. All right. My name's Ben Howison. Sursum corda.